Hi, welcome back to day 9, and today I want to share with you some ideas about a very common energy pattern I see within the context of a medical intuitive assessment. I'm going to reference the chakra system here, the ancient energy mapping system of Ayurveda, the science of life. And we're going to focus on the first 3 chakras. And for those of you who have not been familiarized with this system, you can read more about it in my book, Intuitive Wellness. And here is a very quick overview of these first 3 chakras. Chakra number 1 is located near the tailbone in the body, and it is all about structure, safety, survival, community, socially constructed realities, family, tribe. Money can be in here, although it's more of a second chakra issue. And speaking of that, the second chakra is located in the abdominal area of the body, and it governs the power of creation and the way we relate to our creations, whether it's a baby, a job, a career, a purpose, a relationship. It controls and governs all of those qualities. And money, financial issues are very much a part of the second chakra, but since money in our cultures is driven also by survival needs, it corresponds between all of the chakras that are lower below the waist. The third chakra is in the belly, where you often feel nervous knots or butterflies. It controls and governs your sense of self, your willingness to be really who you are. Your self-esteem is solidly located here or not. These chakras, and there are 7 primary ones on the body. There are actually hundreds of them, secondary and tertiary chakras throughout the body and the energy field, but that's another radio show. And we're just going to focus on these 3 within this common energetic pattern. Always remember, when I'm speaking the word energy, it is synonymous with the word mind, conscious mind, because energy is a byproduct of the conscious mind. When you feel or see or know or hear something about energy within your own body, you are detecting conscious mind. Now, the most common pattern I see actually starts in the third chakra, where energy, consciousness from the external world, stimulates that chakra and your nervous system within the organs within that region of the body and creates some level of an impact, positive, negative, or neutral. The sense of self, let's say in a challenging situation, gets disrupted. Somebody criticizes your work, somebody gives you a weird look or something. They don't even need to say anything, but you feel something weird inside the solar plexus of the body. Now your third chakra is sufficiently triggered. That often directly drops down into the first chakra in nanoseconds, because energy and mind basically work at the speed of light, which is 186,000 miles per second. So it really moves a lot faster than we can register. But we catch up to it sooner or later. When it arrives in the first chakra, immediately you're concerned about your sense of safety, your things, your stuff, yourself, and perceptions of the social group around you and what they could be thinking about you. It freaks you out, basically. It immediately goes up into the second chakra, and that's when your awesome little energetic minions are gathering together going, okay, now what do we do? How do we fix this? How do we control this? What do we need to create in order to get this out of us, get this on the way, get this away from me? Those are usually our reactions, to push it or somebody away because we don't like the way it feels. The short version again is third chakra impact, dropping down to the first chakra. Oh my God, I'm not safe. Second chakra takes over and says, what do we need to do about this? Now remember, when energy or conscious mind is impacted, we as human beings can become unconscious. The energy or consciousness is always conscious to itself. But we're the ones who lose consciousness. We fall asleep. We dive down a rabbit hole head first because we don't want to deal with what's going on. Or we've been traumatized in the past and we're used to flying down the rabbit hole. Remember I talked about the middle way and walking down the middle of the path in the middle of the road and not being thrown in the trench? When energy impacts us in a negative way, whoops, we're off into the trench. Trench, rabbit hole, same thing. When this happens, our energy, our consciousness is obscured. Obscurations create hindrances. Obscurations are basically congested energy, congested mind. And that leads to confusion. And that's where the minions in the second chakra that are trying to create a resolution go into chaos mode. And that's where some really interesting behaviors can show up. Hindrances create hesitation. So isn't it true that when you're confused, you hesitate? You don't act? Or if you do act, you may not act out in a way that makes sense to the conscious part of you? Have you ever had a situation in which you are awake enough to watch yourself do and say something that you know you shouldn't do or say? I can raise my hand on that one. How about you? It's called being human. When we hesitate, we aren't listening to ourselves. We've maybe forgotten that life purpose radius. What drives us? What inspires us? What do we aspire to? And as a result, even though our little second chakra is creating resolutions or trying to, that can be in the form of placation and appeasement, buying into what everybody else is saying so you feel safe. Have you been there? Most of us have. Okay, all of us have. The resolution to this is manifold, but I'm going to touch on some highlights. Things you can do, easy things you can do. When you clear your energy, you calm and clear the mind. So number one on my list is meditation, whether it's Zen or Vipassana, transcendental meditation, or any other form of contemplative prayer that works for you. I am an avid believer in acupuncture. As an energy medicine practitioner and the work I do as a medical intuitive, I am in the acupuncturist's office every week. That's my Friday afternoon. And I have been for over 20 years. And I have acupuncturists in different states. That's how much I am committed to myself. And yes, I do other things. I meditate several times a day. I always have some quiet moments before and after a consultation if I have a client in that day. Also, yoga. Yoga is founded on the movement and the awakening of conscious mind within the body. So is Tai Chi, Qigong. Walking out in nature puts you back to the most natural state of your environment, your internal landscape, as well as placing you into the natural landscape of the outer world. You come back to the Taoist perspective of the law and nature of nature. All of these are methods of self-care to help clear the mind. When you clear the mind, you clear energy. You clear obscurations. You clear the hindrances. Confusion comes back into a form of clarity. And you're able to live the most important thing, your life, your way. Not as a petulant child, but as someone who is in touch with themselves, with their heart, their self-esteem. That is critical in the third chakra, because if you don't have that self-esteem, you're going to follow the tribe. You're going to follow in with that socially constructed reality, which is the big river we all float in. But honey, it's the way you paddle the boat and the way you have your hand on your own rudder that makes a difference. I'm going to talk about self-esteem more in the days ahead. But for now, pay attention within your own body when something approaches you, something meaning energy, or a situation that's challenging for you. See where it hits you in your body. See where there's an impact, where it makes an impression. It's not always a hit as in something painful. It can be. Life is interesting that way. But the point here is to pay attention and look at the circuitry that's hardwired into you. The self, the survival of the self, and the creation of the solution for the self. That is the most common pattern I see. Third chakra, first chakra, second chakra. Be happy, be well, and for goodness sakes, be yourself. Might as well. That's what you're here to do. Until next time.